Yo, I'm back. Something different this time though. Come to show you something and actually show you a strip down and chip replacement. This is the Fakirsmods, I believe it's pronounced, Illusia A AIO device. I was looking for a wooden borrow device that uses 21700s. I want a collection of wooden devices, and I started with the AIO, shopping around, asking for advice, and I came across Fakirsmods. I came across this device on their website and I bought it straight away. And I think it's beautiful. But there was a problem with it. It came in good time, it came in good condition. There was a slight problem actually with the branding there. That branding on the front of it is actually spelt incorrectly. There's an extra I in there. But that doesn't affect the performance, so I'm not bothered, and doesn't affect how good looking it is in my opinion, so it doesn't matter. But when the device went into auto shutdown after however long you've set it to do that, it wouldn't turn back on until you took the battery out and put it back in. And that's just not convenient. So I'm not really here to show you the device and tell you much about the device. I'm actually here to just show you how to change the chip, because I got back in contact with the manufacturer and they asked that I send it back to them to repair. This was back in February. Right now it's the 27th of June and it's only been a few weeks I've had it back. That's no fault of Fakirsmods at all. It's all 100% the fault of UPS. They clearly lost it. Something had gone wrong, and me and the manufacturer were both being told two different versions of what is happening with the delivery back. And eventually it found its way back to me. After many months, it found its way back to me. So once it found its way back to me, got back in touch with the manufacturer, and they said, look, they're just going to send a chip out and a video guide of how I would replace it. So I've watched the video and now you're watching me replace the chip. And hopefully once I replace the chip, spoilers, it does work, don't worry, it does fix the problem. But I won't have that power problem anymore and I can just enjoy the device. So as I said, I want to say it's walnut it's made out of, if I'm correct. Walnut, stainless steel, 21700 device, and it's got a Dicodes V3 chip inside. So if you do end up getting one of these and ever need to strip it down fully, here's your tutorial on doing so. But I can't imagine many of you out there are going to pick one of these up. I don't see them about much. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with one. I will be honest, I had a couple of people warn me against these devices, but the other devices that they recommend over this one, none of them were 21700, which is what I really wanted. And then when it did turn up and it wasn't working correctly, they was all like, told you so. But I got to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed, of course. Cost quite a lot of money, but the customer service has been exceptional. And not only did he just decide to make me a video showing me how to take this apart, replace the chip, even though it wasn't his fault, when he sent me out the replacement chip, they also included a Zoe RBA, the MTL cap and the RDL cap. So, and it was no fault of those. I mean, yes, I was disappointed, but I'm not gonna hold them at fault for something that UPS messed up. And I got beef with UPS anyway, because they're always, not always, but quite often mess up stuff for us when we're dealing with them through the shop. So yeah, big up Fakirsmods. I do recommend them. Hopefully there aren't any problems if you buy one of their devices, but if there is, I can tell you firsthand that their customer service is above and beyond, in my opinion, at least anyway. So that's the 510. It's just the screw that's used as a 510. With a little something on there for a bit of insulation, I believe. But it works. Now you'll take the bottom plate of the borrow bay, I think I'm going to call that. The tank bay, I don't know. It is a little bit dirty under there, can't say I wasn't a bit disappointed. So they could have done a better job at cleaning it down before they assembled it, but didn't affect performance while I was using it. The button fell out there, out the corner of my eye. And this is the faulty chip. You're not going to be able to see much wrong with it. I don't think that's how these things work, but that goes back in the packaging that he sent the replacement one to me in. And here is the replacement chip. And now it's just a case of put it back together as I took it apart. But one thing I do want to do is make sure it's all positioned correctly in the right orientation and the fire button is actually in place. Because as I'll realize in just a moment, and they're delicately trying to put everything back together perfectly, but as I'll realize in a moment, I forgot to put the fire button back in. Gonna give it a clean out first. I don't believe that this grubby dust, dirt or whatever I'm wiping off of the parts now has accumulated since I bought it. I'm adamant that was in there. So I believe that's the state that the internals of the device came in when I bought it initially, which is a bit disappointing. But like I said just a moment ago, it doesn't affect performance. So I did remember to put the button in there that time, slide the chip back into place. And what I'm doing there is just pressing the fire button on the back just to make sure that it's clicking. Because it does need to push down on the button on the chip there. What is that part called? Do we call them tank bays, borrow bays? I don't know, but slide him back in, make sure everything looks nice and flush, fitted against the wood. Five 10-pin going back in. If you're ever stripping anything down and then putting it back together, always be sure not to over tighten things. Don't just crank them down as much as you can. Crank them down as much as they need. The last thing you want is to be rounding off screws when trying to take it apart again in the future because you've over tightened it. He also sent me some rods, and the only place I can see that they go on this whole device is there where they're attached to the top plate. But they don't come off of the top plate, or I couldn't see how to get them off. I didn't want to put too much force into it because I don't think there's anything wrong with those screw rods, whatever they're called, that I've just slid back into the device. There was nothing wrong with the ones that are on there. I couldn't see how to get them off to replace them in case there was, and I thought, you know what, I'm not risking it. I was thinking about getting some pliers and proper wrenching it down, but not worth the risk in case they don't come off. I'm sorry I don't have the technical names for all of these individual parts, but now I'm just popping these screwy thingies back into place. They obviously fasten down onto those rods that I just slid into the device. before, and they also allow for me to screw down into the top of them as well. But yeah, that's the dirt I got from wiping the device out, which isn't ideal, you know what I mean? Could be better, but they made up for it, in my opinion. So once again, I did forget to put a piece back in, but before then, another minor issue with this whole thing. So we've got like a star head screws in the bottom. This is the same screw head or star head that I used to take the screws out. When using the screws that were sent to replace the old ones, because he sent me spare bottom plate, spare screws and spare bits and bobs. One of the replacement screws that were sent out to me was just a regular Phillips screw. So I got one of the old star heads out of from the ones that I took off of it initially, and I've popped that one back on instead. Can't see that has anything to do with the chip not working correctly, so shouldn't be a problem. Battery tube back in, battery cap back in, and do you see it? Do you see what I forgot to put back in? Yeah, there he is, the battery contact. And I don't even want to think what would have happened if I tried to put a battery in this device without that battery contact on. I don't think it would have been good. I'm hoping it just triggered one of the safety features on the chip and it just wouldn't fire, but you never know, so it's a good job I spotted that there. So I do need to push the battery tube up a little bit to make room for that battery contact thingy bob there. The threadings on the battery tube for the battery cap at the top, not gonna lie, they could be smoother. I don't know what it takes, what kind of machines are needed to ensure it's nice and smooth. If it's an easy thing to do, a difficult thing to do, I wouldn't have a clue, but all I do know is I wish that they were a bit smoother. You can use it, it's fine. It's not like grindy or anything like that. It's just, I felt smoother battery caps, so I wish I had one, but it wouldn't be right to have 10 out of 10 on everything, right? So without the battery tube in there, it will take a 21700. With the battery tube in there, it's an 18650. I did buy this device believing that with the battery tube, it will take a 21700, but that's my own fault for not looking into the device enough before I bought it, to be honest with you, and I'm happy with it anyway. I'll just get like a wooden battery wrap for a 21700 and slide that bad boy in there and it'll be all good. But after swapping the chip out, here I am, just making sure it's all working. So check the battery orientation. Has been a long time since I put a battery in this device. Like I say, it's been gone in the hands of UPS for 5-6 months now. Power's back on. I'm just smashing that fire button a few times. I don't know if you've used the Dicodes chip before, but if you haven't, it's not like most other chips. I mean, it can just be easily used. You just set your power and you go. But it gives you a lot of other options that you don't typically find on most chips, especially not on the actual device. Like, you can change settings on this chip that you would normally find you can do with other chips, but you'd have to use a bit of software on a computer. So, and it's all single button operation as well. There's no up or down buttons. It's all just one button operates everything. But once you get used to it, it's very good. Once you tailor it, it allows you to tailor the settings to suit you much more than a lot of other devices can. So chip changed, and I can tell you a couple weeks on from this recording, it's still working. So yeah, man, that's how you change it. Peace.